Congratulations on your Eagle Scout. Very good. Right up here. And why don't you explain to the audience what you did for your project for your Eagle Scout? I know it develops a lot of life experience.
For my project personally, I put together care packages for the military during Christmas time. I sent an effort out to put together drives and to make cards from different people, and then to send it all out to Christmas time because I know that my uncle works in the military and my dad is a veteran, so I know this was very personal to me, and I thought it'd be a good thing to remind them that we're always thinking about them for their service.
Moving on, item 7 is a resolution of the Township Council of the Township of Toms River, Ocean County, New Jersey, authorizing the reading of the Township of Toms River 2021 calendar year budget by title only.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Motion made by Councilwoman Yurick, seconded by Councilman Turnbach. Councilwoman Yurick.
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach.
Yes.
Councilman Kopp.
Yes.
Councilman Lotano.
Yes.
Councilman Roderick.
Yes.
Council Vice President Maruka.
Yes.
Council President Gagan.
Yes.
Item 8 is a 2021 municipal budget amendment public hearing.
Does any member of the public have any questions on the amendment that we had done to the municipal budget? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Seeing none, I move to close the public comments portion of that
I'll
hearing.
second that.
Motion was made by Councilwoman Yurick, seconded by Councilman Turnbach. Councilwoman Yurick.
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach.
Yes.
Councilman Kopp.
Yes.
Councilman Lotano.
Yes.
Councilman Roderick.
Yes.
Council Vice President Maruka.
Yes.
Council President Gagan.
Yes.
Item 9 is the vote on the 2021 municipal budget.
Move the 2021 municipal budget.
Second.
Motion was made by Council Vice President Maruka, seconded by Councilman Kopp. Council Vice President Maruka.
This budget for 2021 was introduced with a 0-cent tax increase, and I vote yes.
Councilman Kopp.
Yes.
Councilwoman Yurick.
Yes.
Councilman Lotano.
Again, to reiterate what Councilwoman Maruka said, this is a zero increase in the municipal budget amongst the pandemic and without cutting any services. I vote yes.
Councilman Roderick.
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach.
Yes.
Council President Gagan.
Yes.
Item 10 is an ordinance of the Township Council of the Township of Toms River, Ocean County, New Jersey, amending and supplementing Section 348-9.32 of the Township Code to revise the regulations governing wireless communications facilities in public rights-of-way. This is a final hearing.
This is second and final reading. Does anybody from the public wish to be heard or comment? Yes, sir. Step up to the mic, state your name and address, please.
Question, we've had questions before about the 5G poles and where they're going and so forth. I haven't had time to read the entire ordinance. What I'd like to know is that in any way?
The installation of 5G is controlled pretty much entirely by the federal government through the FCC under the Telecommunications Act of 1996. The federal government has basically intergalactic power over internet communications, wireless communications. Where the township does have the limited authority to regulate is with respect to aesthetics, location, and things like that. But in order to do that, we have to have a system in place for the communications companies to apply to install 5G and to show where they're going to put them and to give the board, in a sense, a chance to review it and approve it. But this ordinance, and I suggest you don't read it because your eyes will glaze over, but it's very long and very complicated. But essentially sets up a system for that to happen in a limited area where the township can still regulate.
Okay, so each of those new poles would still require public hearing either the planning board or somewhere else?
There would be a hearing before the board.
Okay, thank you.
Does any other member of the public wish to be heard?
Seeing none, move to close public comment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Move the ordinance on final.
Second.
Motion was made by Council Vice President Maruka, seconded by Councilman Lotano. Council Vice President Maruka.
Yes.
Councilman Lotano.
Yes.
Councilwoman Yurick.
Yes.
Councilman Kopp.
Yes.
Councilman Roderick.
I'm going to abstain.
Councilman Turnbach.
Yes.
Council President Gagan.
Yes.
Item 11 is an ordinance of the Township Council of the Township of Toms River, Ocean County, New Jersey, consenting to franchise renewal rights to the New Jersey Natural Gas Company to lay and maintain gas mains, pipes, and service pipes in and under the surface of any and all of the roads, streets, avenues, highways, and public places for the purpose of furnishing natural gas to the Township of Toms River. This is a first reading.
Move the ordinance on first?
Second.
Motion was made by Councilwoman Yurick, seconded by Councilman Turnbach. Councilwoman Yurick.
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach.
Yes.
Councilman Kopp.
Yes.
Councilman Lotano.
Yes.
Councilman Roderick.
New Jersey Natural Gas just increased their rates by 25%. The Ocean County Board of Commissioners and Berkeley Township have passed resolutions in opposition of this immense rate hike. I agree with Commissioner Vicari. Our senior citizens only received a 1.3% increase in their Social Security this year, are now expected to pay a 25% increase in their gas bills. Very unfair to our most vulnerable residents. And like Freeholder Vicari, I fear that some seniors may be forced to decide between paying their gas bill in the winter and eating or having medicine. So I think to renew their franchise agreement at a time like this is inappropriate, and I would like to move that this be tabled so that we can discuss what we can do as far as keeping these rates down here locally.
Is that a yes, no, abstain?
There's a motion. and a
I just
second on
moved
the
to
floor.
table.
There was a motion and a second on the
Yeah.
floor.
I thought we were voting on it. There's a motion and second on the floor. So,
So no one will table this so we can discuss what we could do to keep the 25% rate increase.
I don't think one has to do with the other.
Well, if you renew their contract, it does, absolutely. Yes.
Counsel-
It would absolutely one have something to do with the other if we renew their contract this evening, especially given the Board of Freeholders and Berkeley Township Board just passed a resolution last night. I don't know, I would appreciate a second. Is anybody willing to second that, or are we gonna just allow them to
Council President?
increase?
yes,
Mr.
Councilwoman
Molino,
Maruco.
there's already a motion and a second on the floor procedurally.
Motion to table and a second.
No, there is a motion and a second for
So,
first,
for
on first read.
reading.
And there's a second, so then we don't, there's no motion to table, we vote on the ordinance.
There was no second, so Councilman Roderick's motion dies, correct?
Yeah.
Correct. Okay. Council Vice President Maruka?
This is a
Very
first
sad,
read on
very
this
sad.
ordinance. There will be a public hearing and a second read. And we can also pass a resolution not supporting that rate hike of the 25%.
But you'll renew the contract.
This is a first read. So we can go to a public hearing. I vote yes.
Council President Gagan?
Yes.
Item 12 is an ordinance of the Township Council of the Township of Toms River, Ocean County, New Jersey, establishing a new Chapter 234 of the Township Code to prohibit the operation of cannabis establishments, distributors, and delivery services in the township. First reading.
I'm going to ask Mr. Merlino to make a statement on this prior to us taking a motion and a vote. Mr. Merlino?
Sure. This ordinance is placed on the agenda pursuant to the new recreational cannabis legislation passed by the state. Once that legislation was signed into law, all municipalities in the state are on the clock. There's a 6-month window that municipalities have in order to regulate this industry. And there are 6 classes or 6 categories of this industry that are defined by the statute. Municipalities can choose to prohibit, to allow, or some combination of prohibit or allow. Either way, if the municipality does not act within 6 months, and that's probably August 21st is the deadline, then Trenton decides whether these businesses or these enterprises are allowed in each municipality. By default, they will be allowed in certain commercial and industrial zones. This ordinance is modeled on a sample ordinance provided by the League of Municipalities. It prohibits the establishment of cannabis enterprises in the township. It is recommended by the League to give the township time to determine for itself whether and to what extent these enterprises should be allowed without having Trenton decide for us. So the ordinance will prohibit it, establish a blanket prohibition if the ordinance is adopted. It's only first reading tonight, but if the ordinance is ultimately adopted, it would establish a blanket prohibition and give the township time to decide going forward what the impact of this legislation is going to be and whether it is a fit or not for Toms River. Essentially, I mean, what it comes down to is that either we decide or Trenton decides, and this ordinance opts for the township decide.
Okay, thank you. Council, your pleasure.
Move the ordinance on first.
Second.
Motion was made by Council Vice President Maruka, seconded by Councilman Lotano. Kopp. Council Vice President Maruka.
Yes.
Councilman Kopp.
Yes.
Councilwoman Yurick.
In its current form, I do not believe this should be introduced. No.
Councilman Lotano.
By voting on this, we are not prohibiting this permanently. We are just trying to get our ducks in a row and do this in a correct way that fits the citizens. Everyone is aware of the percentage this passed in the last vote. I vote yes.
Councilman Roderick.
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach.
I'm in favor of the township having control over their zoning, and for that reason, I'm going to vote yes.
Council President Gagan.
I also am in favor of the township maintaining control and not any other entities outside the town. I vote yes.
And item 13, a resolution of the Township Council of the Township of Toms River, Ocean County, New Jersey, supporting the Toms River waterfront and surrounding area local concept development study.
Not yet, sir. We'll do public comment at the end.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Motion was made by Councilwoman Yurick, second by Council Vice President Maruka. Councilwoman,
Do you think we could just explain to the public why they go at the end, just briefly, because there's some folks who look a lot upset. Can somebody just explain? Yeah. Thanks. Mr. Merlino?
Matter of form.
Yeah, it's a matter of law. Ordinances get introduced on a first reading and adopted at a second reading. Public comment specifically on the ordinance is set aside for the second reading, but you're free to certainly comment on the issue when we get to the public comment section of the meeting.
Yeah. It has to pass twice. The number 10 was defined.
motion was made by Councilwoman Yurick, seconded by Council Vice President Maruka. Councilwoman Yurick.
Yes.
Council Vice President Maruka.
Yes.
Councilman Kopp.
Yes.
Councilman Lotano.
Yes.
Councilman Roderick.
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach.
Yes.
Council President Gagan.
Yes.
Next item is the consent agenda. All matters listed under item consent agenda will be enacted by one motion in the form listed below. There will be no separate discussion of these items. If discussion is desired on any item, that item will be considered separately.
Does any member of the council have any item they wish to discuss separately? No. Does any member of the public wish any item to be discussed separately?
Seeing none, I move to close the public
Excuse me,
comments.
sorry. Yes.
Yes, Councilman Roderick.
G, H, N, and O. I'd like roll calls on G, H, N, and O.
G, H, N as in Nancy?
And O, yes. I
Okay.
didn't get much sleep as of late.
I couldn't hear you. What was that mumbling?
That's okay. G, H, N, and O.
Okay. Council, your pleasure on the remaining items.
I was just closing the public comments portion for the agenda, consent agenda.
I would second that.
Motion was made by Councilwoman Yurek, second by Councilman Turnbach, to move the balance of the consent agenda with the exception of items G, H, N, and O. Councilwoman Yurek.
Yes. move
Councilman
that.
Turnbach.
Yes.
Councilman Kopp.
Yes.
Councilman Lotano.
Yes.
Councilman Roderick.
Yes.
Council Vice President Maruka.
Yes.
Council President Gagan.
Yes. Okay. And you wanted a discussion or a separate vote on
I'd like a roll call.
a roll call on each of those items?
Yes. Well, I'd like some information on O. I wanted to know what they wanted to build down on the bottom on Fisher Boulevard. So I know right now it's a home, and it says major site plan, but there was no further information as to what was going to be built.
In here. Okay. Well, do we have a motion to move item G? We'll start with that.
Motion for item G?
Second.
Motion to item G. Motion was made by Council Vice President Maruka, seconded by Councilman Turnbach. Council Vice President Maruka.
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach.
Yes.
Councilwoman Yurek.
Yes.
Councilman Kopp.
Yes.
Councilman Lotano.
Yes.
Councilman Roderick.
No.
Council President Gagan.
Yes. A roll
Move-
call vote on item H.
Move item H.
Second?
Motion was made by Council Vice President Maruka, seconded by Councilwoman Yurek. Council Vice President Maruka.
Yes.
Councilwoman Yurek.
Yes.
Councilman Kopp.
Yes.
Councilman Lotano.
Yes.
Councilman Roderick.
No. Not another 100,000 for the radios. No.
Councilman Turnbach.
The federally mandated police project, I'm going to vote yes.
Council President Gagan.
I don't care to vote a disparaging vote to defund the police. This is a requirement and it's certainly a safety issue, not only for the police officers, but for the residents that they're responding to. I vote yes. Okay. The remaining two items, no, I'm sorry. N as in Nancy, O as in Ocean. Was there a question or a separate vote on that, Councilman Roderick?
For N, it's just a vote. And for O, I have a question, as I said
Okay.
earlier.
Council, your pleasure. Item N as in Nancy.
Move item N.
Second.
Motion was made by Councilwoman Yurek, seconded by Councilman Lotano. Councilwoman Yurek.
Yes.
Councilman Lotano.
Yes.
Councilman Kopp.
Yes.
Councilman Roderick.
No.
Councilman Turnbach.
Council President, may I ask a question of our township attorney before I vote?
Yes, sir. Mr. Merlino.
This is a resolution of the Township Council of the Township of Toms River, Ocean County, New Jersey, releasing cash performance guarantees for a major site plan known as Riverwood Chase, also known as Nobility Crest at Dover LLC, Phase 3, Block 166, Lots 3, 4, 9, and 15. Can you explain to the public that's sitting out here what the purpose of this resolution is?
Sure. When a developer proposes to construct a project, the law requires them to post a bond in favor of the township to make sure they perform that project. If they fail, as if they go bankrupt or they abandon the project, the township has a right to go after that bond in order to complete the project or to repair the land that, that they may have cleared so that there's not a site remaining fallow. However, once the township engineer certifies that the project is complete, we are obligated by law to release that bond. We don't have a choice. The law requires us to give that money back. We can't just keep it if the developer has fulfilled all of their obligations. All this resolution does is place the township in compliance with the law, which is to give the developer, who did everything he said he was going to do, his money back.
And if we vote no and don't give the developer his money back, what happens?
We get sued,
And who pays that?
the taxpayers.
I vote yes.
Council Vice President Maruka.
Yes.
Council President Gagan.
Yes. Is Mr. Chinkalian here? If you would, please step up and, item O is an ocean, please.
What are they making? And also, are they 100% completed with the project that we previously voted for the release on, or was it almost completed?
No, release the performance bond.
100% completed
Completed in that phase.
in that phase, but there is another
Item N
phase.
is done.
Excuse-
This is
excuse me,
item O.
I'm speaking now. You can
I don't-
clearly do that. It's my
We're on to
question.
item O.
It's my question. So there is another phase, correct?
Put him in timeout again.
Another phase?
Would you answer questions for item O as an ocean? We've all come prepared to this meeting, so thank you.
Item O is a two-story commercial office on the intersection of Fisher and Victor Avenue. It's a smaller site, it's 8 parking spaces. I do have a copy if you'd like to see.
Thank you. And the neighbors, anyone contest it? There's all homes around it, so
I was not at the planning board meeting.
you weren't there. The board approved it. Okay. And you're saying, though, they begin a new phase in Nobility Crest, correct?
We're on item O. We're not
I
gonna
can
go back
ask
to-
a question. It's perfectly okay. I'm elected to ask questions. I know you don't like questions, Council President Gagan. You don't like the light of day. You like to shut things down, but I think the public has a right to know. I mean, you take a drive up there, everything's being ripped up again. So
They should go to the planning board meetings.
Or
They're
just be
notified.
informed.
I just had to take a drive, Lori.
We're not going to waste any more of Mr. Chinkalian's time. Do you have any questions regarding item O?
None that Mr. Shankalian can answer. He
Okay,
said he
thank
wasn't-
you.
He said he
Coun-
wasn't at
Counsel,
the planning
thank you,
board
Mr.
meeting.
Chink-
So,
Thank you, Mr. Chinkalian. Counsel, your pleasure on item O.
Move item O.
Second.
Motion was made by Councilwoman Yurick, seconded by Councilman Kopp. Councilwoman Yurick.
Yes.
Councilman Kopp.
Yes.
Councilman Lotano.
Yes.
Councilman Roderick.
no,
Councilman Turnbach.
I'd once again, Council President, ask the Township Attorney to explain to the public what accepting performance guarantees for a site plan does.
If you would, Mr.
This
Merlino?
is actually the beginning of the process. So developer has a site plan that was approved by the board. He's required under the board resolution to supply a performance guarantee, which is essentially a bond saying that the developer is going to do what the site plan says. Township has to accept that bond, so it's protected.
If the township doesn't accept that bond and isn't protected and he defaults, what happens?
We have no recourse.
With that, I vote yes.
Council President Maruka.
Yes.
Council Vice President Maruka, excuse me.
Yes.
Council President Gagan.
Yes.
We do not have any reports tonight, so we move right on to the bills.
Move the bill list.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Turnbach, seconded by Councilman Kopp. Councilman Turnbach.
Abstain from PO 21-01951, payable to the magistrates. Abstain from PO 21-00653, payable to law office of Siddle, Holzapfel, and Zabarski, as well as 21-01929, payable to law office of Siddle, Holzapfel, and Zabarski. Abstain from PO 21-01871, payable to Dasty McGuckin Law Office. I'm a local attorney in town. I have conflicts with those. Yes to the balance.
Councilman Kopp.
I abstain from the following: 21-01587, 21-01806, payable to Ona Little Associates, and 21-01129, payable to Oceans Harbor House. Yes to the balance.
Councilwoman Yurick.
Abstain from PO 21-00409, payable to Rutgers University, and PO 21-01305, 21-01481, 21-01585, and 21-01854, payable to Remington and Vernick Engineers. Yes to the balance.
Councilman Lotano.
Yes.
Councilman Roderick.
Voting no on Bill 21-01871, payable to Dasty, McGuckin, Attorneys at Law.
And do you approve the
Yes.
balance?
Yes to the balance.
Council Vice President Maruka.
Abstain to 21-01951, payable to Tom's River Payroll, line item 88, NJMVC lease program, I have a conflict. And 21-01871, payable to Jassy McGuckin, yes to the balance.
Council President Gagan.
Yes.
And next, we have elected officials' comments.
Mayor Hill?
Tonight, we passed the amended budget for 2021 with no tax increase despite the pandemic shutdown. I want to thank Alex Davison, our CFO, and his staff, Louis Amoruso, our BA, and our personnel staff, the department heads and their staff for their efforts to reduce costs and bring this in as a zero budget. I also want to thank the members of the council for voting to pass this budget tonight, and those council members who attended the Finance and Capital subcommittees that developed the budget. Unfortunately, Councilman Roderick, who is a member of both of these subcommittees, did not attend any of these meetings, despite the fact that they were held virtually and after working hours. Once again, Dan was MIA, missing in action. Congratulations to Hillary and Josh Kopp on the arrival of Warren John. Congratulations. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Councilman Roderick?
I'm going to go last this evening.
I'm calling on you now, Councilman Roderick. You have nothing to say?
No, I do, but you regularly ask me to go first. Why can't I go last? I don't understand. Is there a plan in place, perhaps?
Well,
Okay, so I'll give this, I'll make my closing comments, but please be aware that based on Robert's rules, should anything be said, person is supposed to be given an opportunity for a rebuttal. So keep that in mind. I know you're new at this, Kevin. It
That'd
amazes
be
me
Council
that Governor,
President. I was
excuse me, now it's
elected
my
by the
closing
council
comments,
to,
Kevin. It's my closing comments.
yes, Daniel.
Thank you. So, in any event, it amazes me that Governor Murphy and the Democrats would work to legalize recreational marijuana without attempting to first solve the state's liquor license problems. As I've said before, the small restaurant industry in our state is shackled, and I believe unleashing that industry would create a tremendous amount of economic activity and job creation. And frankly, I'm shocked that we're moving forward with recreational marijuana before we solve that issue. You take a look at downtown Toms River, very difficult to get anything going. People want to have a drink with their meal. And small restaurants and businesses like that, they really supercharge the economy. And you see that happening all over New England and other places down south. But again, here in New Jersey, we have an archaic system where these licenses trade like a piece of property. They cost, $1 million. And if you want to have a little restaurant, you can't sell any beer or wine or anything else. And frankly, I think it inhibits job creation and, again, shackles our local economies. So that's one of the reasons that I don't support it. The other reason is I'm a public school teacher, and frankly, I've seen drugs destroy a lot of families. And it starts out with people smoking a little pot, and then before you know it, people, well, everybody's entitled to their opinion. I've seen it over many years, and it's sad to watch, and so that's why I can't support this. So with that, I yield to whoever's next.
Councilman Latano.
Thank you, Council President. I also want to offer congratulations to the Kopp family on the birth of their son last week. It's a new addition to Toms River. I'm sure he'll be a great addition. Downtown Night Out starts back up this week. For all of you that have come to it last year, you know what a great time it is. I I hope Councilman Roger can make it this year. You can see that there's a brewery, a distillery. There's some restaurants that actually sell local wines. I know that the Time for All Seasons sells local wines here, and they're quite good. I don't think that the liquor license thing is perfect. We're doing the best we can. The bid gets a big thank you for that. They're putting this whole thing together, and it's probably the best downtown event in the state of New Jersey. We have a lot of people here tonight, as you all can see, more than usual. It's great to see so many people taking an interest in our local government. I wish it were for better reasons. The two reasons I think most of you are here tonight is, one, to address the cannabis ordinance tonight, and I hope our township, Mr. Merlino, answered at least some of the questions. I'm sure you have more. I think he did a pretty good job of explaining it. The second one is to find out the councilman responsible for trying to manipulate the Board of Ed superintendent search. We can all agree that's why many of us are here tonight. We can also agree that any councilman trying to alter the vote of the Board of Ed, it's a disgrace, and this behavior should not be tolerated. If it was found out that a council person used his position as an elected official, the repercussions should be severe. The person should resign, and more importantly, apologize to the Board of Ed, the teachers and faculty, and most importantly, the students and the parents, because this process might have to start over again. That's all I have for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Hewitt.
So I'd like to also congratulate the Kopp family. That's wonderful, welcoming a new baby. My youngest is going to be 23 tomorrow, so it's been a while for my family. But I remember the feeling. It's wonderful. So I'd also like to point out about downtown, the fact that the restaurants have actually collaborated with the distillery and the brewery, and the brewery and the distillery have collaborated back with the restaurants so that they have this cooperative delivery program going, so that you can actually, with the outdoor dining, you can actually order from the distillery and the brewery and Time for All Seasons or Crave, and you can actually enjoy an alcoholic beverage if you're over 21 with your meal. So Toms River, although the liquor license issue is a hill to climb, Toms River has been very creative, and again, thanks to the bid for the collaboration between the businesses downtown. I'd also like to make comment on the cannabis legislation, or the ordinance tonight. So the state passed some rather lengthy legislation, was signed into law in February, and it's admittedly flawed, as evidenced by the resolution that we passed just last month opposing one of the provisions of the cannabis law. And I also understand that time is of the essence. And if we are to retain control of our own land use, that we have to take some action by August, actually before that, because in order to really get an ordinance through, you need time to post it to the public, a first reading, a second reading 2 weeks later, and then 20 days after that, well, after the mayor signs it, then it goes into effect. So it does take usually around 45 days to really get something through. However, I think that if we had given just 4 weeks, just to the second meeting in May, we have one of the best planners in the state of New Jersey. He's very highly respected, and we have a very talented attorney. And I think that if we had given it a few weeks, that we could craft something that would satisfy our safety concerns, because of course there are safety concerns, but we could also honor the votes of the 64% of Toms River voters. It's not Ocean County, it's not New Jersey, it's 64% of Toms River voters who voted yes in November to legalize cannabis. That's almost 32,000 votes, and I think we need to consider that. So that's all I have tonight.
Thank you. Councilman Kopp.
Thank you, Council President. So this Saturday, May 1st, Recalibrate's going to be hosting a 5K at Winding River Park. All proceeds will be going to Just Believe, who manages our Code Blue shelters, and they have done a phenomenal job helping our homeless and less fortunate. I want to thank Recalibrate for putting this together. Recalibrate is it was started by local veterans and now has outreach across the country. They help our veterans, first responders through fitness, reconnecting, and peer recovery. Just want to thank Recalibrate again, and we look forward to a great event. Thank you, Council President. That's it.
Thank you. Councilwoman Maruka.
Thank you, Council President. On this past Saturday, the Shelter Cove Beach, Councilman York and myself, we attended the Atlantic Clean Team going out to clean the area there. It was scheduled through our Clean Communities, and there were students from the MATES program, the Performing Arts Academy, and also high schoolies. So they did a wonderful job there, and I would encourage anyone that wants to get involved with our Clean Communities, please contact John Clark at our Public Works Department. He heads that for us. Our police department is in a recruitment phase that's starting beginning of May through July 31st. There has been some social media posts. I know there was a press release that gone out from the PD. Encourage anybody who wants to apply for the finest police department in the state of New Jersey. Now's your opportunity. Very happy this evening that the pickleball courts for the northern beaches, which will be 6, and for Ortley Beach, which will be 3, were passed. The contract was awarded. That will hopefully get started soon. There's been something from the residents from both the Ortley area and the northern beaches have been requesting this, and this is another recreation project we can put over on the barrier island. And also, on our downtown area, we talked about dining out and things like that. One of the things that I think that's unique to our downtown is going to happen on May 20th, and that's when Toms River South is going to have their prom down there. Governor Murphy did pass some rules and regulations that they can have more people outdoors. I believe it's up to 250 now, and at least it lets our seniors have the prom that they've been dreaming of, they've been wishing of, and really fulfill the end of their senior year. And I couldn't think of any more fitting place for Toms River South to have it than our downtown area there. And also congratulations go out to Detective Brennan on his retirement. I've known Detective Brennan for a long time. Dan was injured in an incident in our department there. He recovered from that and went on to the Detective Bureau. Big loss for us, but congratulations to him. And last but not least, welcome Warren John to the Kopp family. All the best to Hillary and Josh and Nora. And that's all I have, Council President.
Thank you. Councilman Turnbuck.
Thank you, Council President. I certainly want to start by congratulating Josh and Hillary on the arrival of Warren John. My family's so excited for you and with you through this whole time, and there's nothing like it. So congratulations on your first son. I hope you have your daughter Nora in the stroller this Saturday for the 5K run walk, because you're going to need that as your excuse for when I beat you. I want to encourage the township residents to consider ordering from Chick-fil-A tomorrow. And Chick-fil-A is located in Brick, and Chick-fil-A has been kind enough to engage with the Toms River Education Foundation and agree that on any mobile order that goes out or that comes in where the term Spirit Day is mentioned in that mobile order, 15% of the proceeds will go to the Toms River Education Foundation. That's a foundation that's been established to try and deal with the school funding cuts that Toms River is facing, and specifically to try and target extracurricular school activities to make sure that all of our students in the Toms River Regional School District can participate in whatever extracurricular activities they want to participate in, and that they're not forced to pay to play, because that would create really a disparate system where some couldn't afford to play, and that's not what school's about. I'm saddened tonight to see that at a critical time in our school district's history, with funding being slashed, as I just talked about, by a formula that we can all agree is not transparent and on its face appears overtly political, that the search by the Board of Education for a new superintendent has turned into nothing short of a political fiasco. At a time when our school district so desperately needs elected officials to focus on the best interests of our students, I'm saddened to see that some elected officials on the Board of Education are being utilized as political pawns for power, money, and political control. As a lawyer, I recognize that there's time for courtroom drama. time for political theater, but that time is never when it involves the welfare of our children or our school district. Sometimes it's better just to stick with the facts. And the facts are that last week, Board of Education member Kathy Egan stated at a committee meeting that she received a phone call from a member of this council, in her words, trying to push an agenda of who the next superintendent should be. I can unequivocally state to all of you here that I did not make this phone call. Phone calls such as these are saturated with the appearance of impropriety, collusion, corruption, and suspicion of what is termed a quid pro quo. And a quid pro quo is a political favor in return for something else, like a promise of employment in the future. In response to Kathy Egan's announcement, and in an unusual move, board members Contessa and Palmieri have alerted the Township Council that they are filing an ethics complaint against Ms. Egan. Bear with me. I'm not too technically savvy, I gotta scroll down, so I apologize. Ethics complaints are usually handled internally by the Board of Education, and they're not the business of the Township Council. So this morning we're advised that there's a potential for an ethics complaint. I don't know if there's an ethics complaint. It's none of our business, but we're being alerted to that by board members Contessa and Palmieri. And the problem I have with that is that board members Contessa and Palmieri are newly elected members of this Board of Education. And their campaign was run by a political consulting firm purportedly owned by Councilman Roderick. So we have two newly elected board members who apparently on their own, because if I was the township attorney of the Board of Ed, I'd be saying not to send that email to us, sent an email to the Township Council saying they filed a ethics complaint that we don't really even know is filed. We have no say over that. I would respectfully indicate to the newly elected board members that their obligation in office is not to help those who helped them get elected, but to help the students and the parents of Toms River Regional School District. The oath of office is not an oath to a political party. It's not an oath to a campaign manager or even a former political party boss. The oath of office is to the people. Sadly, it's the students and the community who lose while the political pawns are moved around the chessboard for money, power, arrogance, and ignorance. To the board members that I know who've spent a ton of time trying to do this, and our board members are elected officials, but they don't get paid. They don't have insurance policies that are offered to them for their family. They put hours into this, hours. And the Board of Education is for our kids. We're supposed to be there for our kids. And what's happening here, Toms River, in no uncertain terms, is that political powers are trying to influence that vote. And they're not trying to influence the vote for the students of Toms River. They're trying to influence the vote for them. And you gotta hold them accountable. You see there's big contracts, attorneys, all of this. That's what's going on here. Does that anything to do with our students? We sit up here and we talk about S2 and how much money we're losing. And this is the games that are being played? Our township needs to get educated. Our residents need to get educated, and it's clear because you're here tonight. I agree with Councilman Latano. It's encouraging to see, but you got to understand what's going on. There's a reason 2 people filed that ethics complaint. Look closely, Toms River. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Turnbuck. My comments tonight are, over the past few weeks across the country, I've heard elected officials commenting on things they have no business commenting on. These comments are usually done to incite anger and fear in the people. They talk about police reform as if they know anything at all about doing the job of a police officer. They call for retraining of the police. I say, how about we start with retraining the public, starting with elected officials? Right here on our own council, Councilman Roderick is no different than these crazed politicians that America has had enough of. He spews lies and misinformation nonstop to promote his own agenda. I don't even think he knows fact from fiction anymore. He uses numerous fake social media profiles and sites with the help of a couple of his friends that sit in their basement and pound away on the keyboard, spinning more hatred and misinformation. Recently, Councilman Roderick has participated in numerous elections in town, out of this county, including Middletown School Board of Ed, where he's employed as a teacher. Some elections may have been won, others may have been lost. They're all the same. All negative, not caring about any repercussions of his actions. Councilman Roderick doesn't care whose lives or family member lives he destroys along the way. He doesn't even care about others that he ran with on different political tickets, past and present, as long as he gets ahead. I can tell you the residents of Toms River have lost big time with Councilman Roderick. He has time for everything else but what he was elected to do, govern the township. He can never make any subcommittee meetings. He never seems to be able to read emails or be prepared for council meetings. He votes no or abstains on everything, claiming to save the taxpayers' money, all while his votes are right in line to defund the police, defund public safety. While he's trying to save money by voting no, he wants to give the Toms River School District more money from the township budget. I'm not saying our school district does not need the help, but one has to ask why. Is it so if our municipal budget goes up, he can campaign that we raise taxes and he voted no? Or is it because of pending ethics issues in Middletown School Board and he's looking for a principal or assistant superintendent position in Toms River Schools? Is that why there's been threats for a school board member as to who should become the next superintendent of schools? You have to ask yourself. As Councilman Turnback said, after all, he did run the school board campaign of Lisa Contessa and Ashley Palmieri. Certainly we have the elect reports to prove it. Why else would a sitting councilman neglect their duties as a councilman to run a campaign for a nonpartisan position? The last council meeting, I sat up here and I observed Councilman Roderick and school board member Contessa with their body language back and forth communicating via text on their cell phones during the meeting. You have to believe me, go back and watch the meeting video of April 13th and see for yourself. Two that are very indebted to Councilman Roderick, and one having a very close personal relationship with one of Councilman Roderick's running mates in the upcoming primary. This just has the appearance of corruption at the highest level. I'm going to read you a complaint letter that we received, and this isn't current. This is over a year ago. You can Oprah request it, but I've made copies for anybody who would like to take a copy of it up here on the dais after the meeting. This letter is dated January 15th, 2020.
Can I ask you why you didn't act on this January 20th, 2020 letter that you received if you believed it had validity? Can I ask you that?
No, you can't.
Or can I
have the
ask
floor.
you if you read the elect report that said
So this,
I sold someone lawn signs? Did you
Councilman
read
Roderick,
that,
do we
or do
put
you
in
just
timeout, or do we
read
do,
whatever
just obsessed?
Mr. Amoroso writes for you? Which is it, sir?
So this
Did
letter
you
is dated
read the
January
elect
15th,
complaint? And if there is a
2020.
real complaint that was lodged against me that was valid a year ago, can you explain to me why you didn't act on it if it were real? You can't, can you?
This letter is
You
dated
can't,
January
because all
15th.
of this
Councilman Roderick,
is
are we done?
really
What would you
a
do with one of your
complete-
students that kept
a
interrupting
complete
you in
sham,
class? Yes,
a
it is.
complete sham on the taxpayer because you want to run Jason Crispin against me, a member of the zoning board who's been there for 11 years and voted to approve all the development. You have his sign on your
Motion
lawn.
to,
Kathy Egan
recess
has her sign,
while,
his sign on the lawn.
Roderick gets his emotions and his
No, it's
medication
not a motion,
in
sir.
check.
You're lying to the public as always, smearing me as always. I've never worked in a campaign in Middletown. Show me something that it's...
No.
Yes.
Councilman Roderick?
I
Councilman,
didn't hear it.
Councilman Turnbach?
Yes.
Council Vice President Maruka?
Yes.
Council President Gagan?
Yes, we'll take a recess so Councilman Roderick can go take his medications and calm down.
Wow, you see what I mean? Oh, totally. But like I said, right.
Lakewood Mo sitting right there.
Looking at the diet.
Did we get text messages sent to us in our email yesterday? Did we get them? Did we get the text messages and a handwritten note from Miss Egan? This is a scam on everybody. On everybody. fine.
I guess I have an unending supply out
No, no, you have it unending. It's never. Oh, man. Look, they're regrouping.
Sergeant McDowell threatened him with something. I don't know what it was. Did the guy that was sitting there? Did Lou leave? Oh, he was in a He's just admitted that's true.
How are you? I can barely under the mask, but I know you. I ask myself that all the
Whole
time.
agenda is just to the public comment. So all right.
Do we have everybody? No. Do we have everybody? No, we don't have Lou.
Good. I'm not really sleeping through the night, but. No, I don't know what's going on.
Oh, thank you.
Ring. Okay, I'd like to resume this meeting. We left off with my public comments. I'm not going to read the whole letter, but it's up here for anybody to take and see. It's summarizing from then President School Board, Mr. Nardini, who's no longer the school board. He brought to the council and the mayor and council an issue that he believed may have had happened previously. And again, it was Councilor Rodmick's unsuccessful attempt to meet with the caucus of the Board of Education. That being said, I think I'll accept a motion from the floor to instruct Business Administrator Amoruso to investigate this further and bring to either the Ocean County Prosecutor's Office or the New Jersey Attorney General's Office for any potential criminal charges if warranted. I'll accept a motion. It's an investigation. Public comment is later. Ms. Ambrosia, you're very familiar with these processes, but now I'll take a motion.
Do we need to waste?
I just want to warn all of you, you've just made all of these spurious claims against me, and it continues to happen over and over again. You've censured me 3 times, you've smeared me, you've done all of these things with zero proof. Zero. In fact,
Okay, so
there are a lot of folks here for me who,
Yes.
why don't we go to public? Actually,
I've asked for a motion from the floor to instruct Mr. Amoruso to conduct an
instead of a
investigation.
lengthy investigation, why don't we just all admit right now that we did not meddle with the school board election? I will go first. I had nothing to do with the superintendent search, so we'll just get it out of the way tonight. That's what the people want to see. So if I have to swear an oath or anything like that, I had nothing to do with meddling with the superintendent search.
Thank you, but we'll take a motion.
you know,
I'll move that motion.
Okay, we have a first. Is there a second on the motion? to instruct Mr. Amoruso to conduct an investigation and forward to the appropriate law enforcement agencies for criminal charges, possibly, if necessary and warranted.
On hearsay, on nonsense?
Okay,
What,
we have a-
what's
we have a-
not
we have a-
hearsay,
we
I'll
have a
tell you
first-
what's not
we have a
hearsay.
first-
You know what's
is
not
there a
hearsay?
motion?
What's not hearsay is that I've been in communication with the Attorney General's office for the last 4 or 5 months, and that you have been holding back the fact, and that's what this is probably really about. You have been holding back the fact that you are giving health insurance.
again, we're-
You are giving
Order,
health
do we need
insurance
to
to
go into
people who have
a-
not earned it,
Do we need to go into
and
another
that
recess?
complaint
now?
has been forwarded.
Why don't you just answer the question? Did you meddle with the,
That is what really has happened.
Did
That is
you-
what happened. You have given Frank Holman's live-in girlfriend insurance,
what we
and
said?
this man is hiding it from everyone.
Yeah.
That's what's
You
really
are
going
talking
on
about
here.
a personnel
Is-
matter.
That's
Mr.
what's going
Roderick.
on.
Again.
Why
your
don't you tell
motion-
the truth? Because I did.
Okay, get
Why don't
your-
you tell the truth about how you guys did that?
Councilman
Let me ask that.
let's
Did
get
you
your
guys give
emotions in
Frank
check.
Holman's
I know it's
girlfriend
difficult.
health insurance and retirement, sir? Did you
Council
do that,
President.
Mr. Amoroso?
Council
Did
President.
you meddle?
Did you
with
do
the
that,
Richardson?
Mr. Amoroso?
Guys, point of order. Dan, be quiet.
Council President.
Did I do it?
He's just
Did I
And
do it,
did
Mr.
you
Roderick?
hide,
Did I
and
do
with,
it, Mr.
and did you
Roderick?
try to
You're gonna let
keep
me answer the
me
question,
from
Mr.
having health insurance records for the last 2 months? Have you been obstructing that for 2 months? Because I have been in communication
I will
with the
declare
Attorney General's
recess
office,
because,
sir. Have you been
Roderick can't
obstructing?
control himself.
Because those papers are going to prove that you are guilty. You are guilty, sir. That is what's really, folks, been going on for months. They cheat, they lie,
Did
they
you
have
meddle?
deals with developers, they give the chairman work all over the place.
Did you meddle?
That's what this is about.
Did you meddle?
Did you give health insurance